Should you be using Temu medical products for your patients? Guys, in this economy. Now yes, obviously lives are at stake, but that's why we're making this video. Today we're gonna find out if the Temu medical products are any good and if they should be used for patient care. Wait, disclaimer, I'm not paid by Temu, I'm not paid by... I'm just not paid. I'm doing this purely for curiosity, for the sake of science, and for communism. Let's see what we have. Medical product. Okay, I don't really need tape and stuff like that. Who cares? Suturing pad. I know this isn't technically medical equipment, but it is definitely going to help you become a better doctor. And these things are usually super expensive, like 64 rand. What? I mean, it really doesn't look bad. The person is obviously not doing this right. That's why you got the pad, so you can practice. So in order to test the realism of this product, I got to treat it like it's a real patient. I mean, I need to dust my floors. Wow, this thing got so dirty so quickly. To be fair, it looks almost exactly like the picture. It's not the thickest or most impressive suturing pad I've ever seen in my life. Like, it doesn't feel like skin, but like it's gonna do the job. You don't even need these, to be honest. You can honestly just practice on literally whatever you want, like your couch, if you're willing to get kicked out of your house. But I guess let's try it out. After being thrown at the wall, this is what we left with. Guys, I know my floors are dirty, please bear with me. Like, it definitely looks like it will do the job. I have an expired suture here. Let's just do this one. It is quite like grippy. I don't mean that in a good way. I mean I'm having to pull the suture quite hard through it. Not bad. It is very like shallow. Like, you see this part, you're not able to you can't really pull the skin like how you would in a real patient. I've just been messing around with it. Like, it definitely does the job. It doesn't perfectly simulate human skin, but like, I don't think any of these mannequins do anyway. You guys want to see the bush medicine way of cutting the suture? This is a running X suture for anyone interested. But I mean, overall for the price, I would give this like a solid 8 or 9 out of 10. Pulse oximeter. Saturation probe, whatever you want to call it. 114 rand. Bro, these things are usually like 4 times the price. This is something that we basically use every single day for almost every single patient. If this works for this price, that's actually... Would I be wanting to be monitored with a SATS probe from Temu if I had pneumonia? Probably not. But hey, that's why we're here. We're gonna find out. So here we have the pulse oximeter. I don't know why they put it in such a big plastic. Ah, it turns on. Nice. 97%. Sounds about right. Obviously, I don't have like pneumonia at the moment, so I'm not expecting it to be any lower than that. I'm just happy it's switched on. Like, what the fuck? Is my saturation actually 98%? So now to test if this thing actually works, I'm gonna do an experiment, a very scientific experiment.
This pool kind of smells like piss. Here we have the saturation probe. So basically, I'm gonna submerge myself for as long as possible and then see if it's able to pick up the change. Currently at 99. I'm definitely out of breath. 99%. Bro, the only thing I'm 99% is 99% dying. Dude, this thing is definitely broken.
I just had this picture in my gallery and I didn't know where else I could use it. I just wanted to use it to... Anyways, what I wanted to say is when you feel breathless, it's not because of your oxygen levels going down, but actually because of acid. The answer is acid. Basically, when you breathe in, you take in oxygen. And then when you breathe out, you exhale carbon dioxide. Now, obviously, if you stop breathing, this whole process is going to be stopped. Now, for oxygen, it's not that big of a deal if you stop breathing initially. There's a bunch of different reasons for this, but one of the biggest being the fact that you literally have like oxygen reservoir in the form of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin basically binds to oxygen and it basically creates this little buffer for you, meaning that if you stop breathing, it's still going to take a while for you before your oxygen drops. So, you know, oxygen's chilling, but this motherfucker, you guys said I'm gonna stop swearing. Let me try that again. This motherfucker is what causes the problem. Carbon dioxide is like a free spirit. It's so soluble, it just comes in and out of your blood. It's like a whore. So basically, as soon as you stop breathing, this guy is gonna just... Oxygen levels are gonna be fairly stable. This guy is gonna be... This thing is broken. So now we still haven't answered the question. So what does it have to do with acid?
Acid.
How did we get to acid? When carbon dioxide dissolves in your blood, it forms something called carbonic acid, which basically releases free hydrogen ions, which basically makes your blood acidic. This is very simplified, but basically that's what happens. Acid. This has nothing to do with... There was just 4 spaces, I just wanted to put one in the other one. Judaism. Guys, I'm just trying to be funny, okay? If you laugh, good. But if you didn't laugh, I'll try again next week. So for most people, most of the time, your brain doesn't actually really detect the carbon dioxide levels rising. The main thing it detects is just acidic pH. And that's what makes you feel like you're dying. So basically, as soon as your brain tastes that acid, it's like, I need to breathe, bro. Your brain doesn't really know why things are getting more acidic, but it knows how to make it less acidic. And once again, like I said, because carbon dioxide is so easy to go in and out of the blood, and it's just such a, like, you know, it's such a free spirit. That's one of the main things that it uses to decrease the acidity of your blood. So now how do you decrease your carbon dioxide levels in your blood? Start breathing faster. And then when you start breathing faster, you physically start dumping more of the carbon dioxide out. And then less carbon dioxide, like we said, equals less, not less Judaism, less acid. Basically, like if you were to imagine a conveyor belt at the airport where you fetch your bags, like if you were to imagine the rate of the conveyor belt being the rate of your breathing, how if it went fast, you know, a lot more people would be able to see their bags and take their bags quickly. But if the bags are being put on super slow and it's going at a slow rate, the rate of people taking their bags is a lot slower, right? Remember I said carbon dioxide is such a free spirit. It's so easy to manipulate by your body. It's like, ooh, come here, you know? Anyway, so now divers and people that need to hold their breath for super long actually use this trick. You'll see them before they go and dive and hold their breath for long. They basically breathe as deep and fast as possible to try decrease their carbon dioxide levels as much as possible before they go in, so that they have more of a reserve to build up. So that when they hold their breath for long and they're not able to exhale all the carbon dioxide out, they at least started at a lower point and are able to tolerate more. But don't do this! Low-key, you can die. It might cause you to become hypoxic because your alarm system has basically been deactivated, and if you don't know what you're doing, you might just pass out and then... Now for you nerds that are watching, you might be like, what about the peripheral chemoreceptors in the blood and your aortic arch and your carotid artery? Bro, chill out. For most people that don't have oxygenation issues like anemia, or they live at high altitudes, or chronic smokers, this is how it works for most people. It's a whole different story if you have one of those conditions I mentioned or anything like that, but that's not for today's talk. For most people, most of the time, this is how it works. Okay, now let's go back to the video. You know, I just made all of this up. Like, this wasn't even a video about Temu. That probe is not from Temu. I just stole it from my friend. That suturing, I've had this suturing pad for a year. I wanted you guys to watch an educational video without you guys knowing it's an educational video, okay? I scammed you, okay? Imagine I made a video titled The Physiology of Breathing. Would you ever watch that? I wouldn't watch that. Anyways, thank you guys for watching.